Namo Amitabha Buddha. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. In the quiet afternoons of a peaceful countryside village, there lived a woman who silently planted seeds of kindness with all the sincerity of her devoted heart. Every day, she quietly prepared humble meals to share with the poor, offered small donations to children in need, and never hesitated to endure hardship while helping those suffering from natural disasters. For many years, she lived simply with the faith that by diligently doing good deeds, her family would be blessed with peace, her children would grow to be virtuous, and life would gradually become brighter. Yet despite all her efforts, her family still struggled to find harmony. Her eldest son abandoned his studies, and her husband's long illness caused her heart to grow heavy again and again. There were moments when she sat before the Buddha altar in silence, tears gently falling as she questioned why a life devoted to goodness had still not brought the peace she longed for. Through a fortunate karmic connection, she eventually met a compassionate teacher who gently explained that performing virtuous deeds was only half the journey, while dedication of merit was what truly completed the path. Those teachings shone like a radiant light into her consciousness, helping her realize that for all those years she had acted kindly, yet had never fully opened her heart to share the merit she created. From that day forward, she began learning to recite the Buddha's name with sincere devotion and dedicate her merits not only to her family, but also to those who had once caused suffering, and to all sentient beings connected by karma. After only some time had passed, miraculous changes slowly began to unfold as her son willingly returned home to apologize and expressed a desire to learn a meaningful trade, while her husband gradually regained his health and became gentler in spirit. She herself also began to feel a profound lightness within her soul, peaceful sleep during the night, and a much deeper faith in the sacred path of spiritual cultivation. Looking back upon her journey, she understood that performing good deeds was like planting seeds, while dedication of merit was the nourishing water that allowed those seeds to sprout and flourish. If seeds are planted but never watered, they struggle to grow. Yet, when they are nurtured with wisdom and care, the blessings of virtue naturally blossom into wholesome fruits. According to the Buddha's teachings, reciting the Buddha's name is the path of saving oneself, while dedicating merit is the path of helping others. And these two practices must always walk together toward completeness. A person who understands dedication of merit does not cling to virtue for personal gain, but instead expands the heart widely to share blessings with all beings, allowing goodness to flow endlessly like a living stream. On the other hand, if one keeps all merit solely for oneself, it resembles stagnant water trapped within a still pond, slowly losing its purity, freshness, and life-giving energy over time. It is precisely this transformation within the heart that creates true miracles, as karmic burdens gradually dissolve and blessings continue to grow more abundant. The secret of dedication of merit does not lie in elaborate words, but rather within sincerity, selflessness, and the vast compassion of an open heart. As long as after every act of goodness or every moment of Buddha recitation, we sincerely direct our prayers toward parents, ancestors, loved ones, and all sentient beings, blessings naturally spread in all directions. Those blessings are never diminished, for the more sincerely merit is dedicated, the more it increases, just like a single lamp lighting countless others without losing its own flame.
This is a profound practice taught by the Buddha long ago, yet many people still have not truly understood its meaning or learned how to practice it correctly. When we deeply understand the meaning of self-liberation and the liberation of others, we begin to look inward to purify our own hearts, while also opening ourselves to ease the suffering of those around us. If one practices only for personal peace, without learning to share goodness with others, attachment to the self still remains, and complete liberation has not yet been attained. But when one diligently cultivates spiritual practice while also dedicating merit broadly, one walks a path that brings peace to oneself and benefit to countless others. In life, many people work tirelessly to perform good deeds, but still cannot find inner peace or harmony within their families, because they have not yet understood how to dedicate merit in the proper way. Performing virtuous acts is like gathering water, while dedication of merit is opening a flowing stream so that the water may nourish all places and bring widespread benefit. A person who understands dedication of merit resembles a vast river that continuously flows forward, carrying life and nourishment to all beings along its path. Meanwhile, one who does not dedicate merit is like a person who hoards wealth without ever using it, possessing abundance yet never truly experiencing its value. There once lived an elderly woman in a gentle countryside village who devoted her entire life to virtuous deeds with a simple heart and an unwavering faith in the law of cause and effect. She often volunteered at the temple, helped the poor, released captive animals, and made offerings to the triple gem with all the reverence and devotion within her heart. Yet, during a long period of her life, her family continuously faced painful misfortunes that weighed heavily upon her spirit. Her son suffered a terrible accident, her young grandchild fell seriously ill, and her husband became bedridden from sickness, leaving her deeply uncertain about the path she had followed for so many years. Within her silent sorrow, she wondered why, despite a lifetime devoted to goodness, karmic suffering had still not ended and pain continued to remain within her family. One day, while attending a sutra chanting ceremony at the temple, she listened to a Dharma teaching about the meaning of dedication of merit and suddenly realized she had not yet truly completed the path of cultivation. From that moment onward, after every daily session of Buddha recitation, she sincerely dedicated her merits to her family, to those burdened by suffering karma, and to all sentient beings connected through karmic affinity. She did not use complicated prayers or eloquent words, but simply joined her palms together, recited the Buddha's name with complete sincerity, and made fast, compassionate vows from the depths of her heart. After only some time had passed, positive transformations gradually began appearing within her family, filling her heart with deep emotion and gratitude. Her young grandchild slowly regained health and slept peacefully once more. Her son no longer encountered endless accidents, and although her husband had not fully recovered, his spirit became noticeably lighter and calmer. The atmosphere within the family slowly turned warm, gentle, and harmonious, completely different from the heavy and sorrowful days that had once overshadowed their home. She finally understood that even though good deeds may appear the same outwardly, when combined with proper dedication of merit, their results become far deeper, broader, and more complete. That story itself became a living testament to the Buddha's teachings regarding the immense power of loving kindness and the dedication of merit. Dedication of merit is like lighting a lamp within the darkness of night, for it not only illuminates one's own path, but also spreads light gently throughout the world. It is the transformation from selfishness into great compassion, from attachment to selflessness, and from keeping blessings for oneself to sharing them openly with all beings. When we perform virtuous deeds without attachment to recognition and dedicate merit without expecting reward in return, blessings naturally continue to grow while karmic obstacles slowly fade away. Many people wonder whether dedicating merit diminishes their blessings. Yet in truth, when one gives selflessly without seeking anything in return, those blessings grow even stronger and more abundant. That is like a seed planted in fertile soil, which, when supported by enough wholesome conditions, will naturally sprout and grow into beautiful fruits. Dedication of merit is the harmonious union between planting and nurturing, allowing blessings not only to arise, but also to flourish steadily over time. Each time we recite the Buddha's name or perform a virtuous deed while dedicating merit to our ancestors, families, and all sentient beings, those blessings quietly spread throughout countless places. One does not need to perform countless acts of goodness, for even a single sincere dedication of merit practiced correctly can generate immeasurable spiritual virtue. Those who truly understand this teaching will realize that the mind itself is the root of every action and every result experienced throughout life. A single vow arising from a deeply sincere heart possesses far greater power than many actions performed without awareness or inner mindfulness. True merit does not depend on the number of deeds accomplished, but rather upon the intention and purity of heart behind every action. Some people perform many good deeds while secretly longing for reward, and when their expectations are not fulfilled, suffering and disappointment naturally arise within them. Meanwhile, others quietly recite the Buddha's name and dedicate merit with a selfless heart free from desire, yet receive blessings that are deep, lasting, and immeasurable. The heart is like a vessel that holds spiritual blessings, for if the mind remains narrow, merit cannot gather fully. But when the heart expands, blessings naturally become abundant. Whenever we dedicate merit, we are also widening that vessel, so it may both contain and spread wholesome goodness more generously. Within that very expansion, the heart gradually becomes purified from selfishness, craving, and the invisible chains created by attachment to the self. There once was a woman living in a peaceful land who diligently prayed whenever difficulties arose within her family, believing that her supplications alone would bring peace and protection. Whenever worries appeared, she would light incense before the altar with sincere devotion, praying for her children's safety and her husband's success. Yet deep within her heart, there remained an endless uneasiness. In particular, her youngest son possessed a fiery temper, resisted guidance, neglected his studies, and associated with harmful influences, causing her sorrow to grow even heavier. She had tried every possible method, from prayers and rituals to seeking help from outside sources, yet nothing truly changed in the way she had hoped. During one retreat at a temple, she listened to a Dharma teaching explaining the profound meaning of dedication of merit and the difference between prayers spoken from the mouth and vows arising from the heart. Those teachings touched the deepest part of her soul, helping her realize that for all those years she had merely begged for blessings without truly transforming her inner self. From that moment onward, she no longer prayed according to old habits, but instead began sitting quietly, reciting the Buddha's name and dedicating merit with sincere mindfulness. Every evening, when the world had fallen silent, she joined her palms together and vowed that her son's karmic obstacles might dissolve, his temperament become gentle, and old resentments finally be healed. She practiced this diligently every single day, without blame, without anger, and with nothing but unconditional love quietly nurtured within her heart for her child. After some time had passed, she gradually noticed remarkable changes as her son became less irritable and slowly developed greater care, awareness, and responsibility in daily life. The boy who once distanced himself from the family gradually became warm, gentle, and willing to help his parents, leaving her deeply moved with gratitude and emotion. She continued dedicating merit every day without asking for anything more, simply maintaining a peaceful heart and trusting fully in the power of inner transformation. When others later asked about the changes within her family, she gently shared that sincere dedication of merit had opened her heart and dissolved the hidden knots of suffering between them. Dedication of merit is not something mystical or unreachable, but rather the harmony between virtue, intention, and the spiritual energy cultivated through genuine practice. When a vow arises from the true heart, it creates a profound spiritual resonance, allowing even the most difficult situations to gradually transform. Those who dedicate merit only through words possess blessings as thin and fleeting as morning dew, while those who dedicate with their entire heart possess blessings vast as the ocean itself. If dedication of merit still carries conditions and expectations, its blessings remain limited. Yet when it is offered selflessly, those blessings continue growing without end. The heart itself is the root of every transformation, and when the mind opens widely, merit naturally spreads throughout all places. A sincere dedication of merit resembles sunlight shining upon dry and barren land, bringing vitality, warmth, and the possibility of renewal. There is no need for complicated words or elaborate prayers, For when the heart is truly reverent, merit can already unfold completely and naturally. Within the teachings of Buddhism, merit is compared to flowing water, and when one knows how to dedicate it properly, that water nourishes many places and benefits countless beings. On the contrary, keeping blessings only for oneself resembles trapping water within a stagnant pond, where over time it gradually loses freshness, clarity, and life. There are people who perform many acts of goodness, yet still feel empty inside because they have never learned how to open their hearts and share their merit with others. Some spend their entire lives practicing generosity, yet their families remain filled with conflict because attachment and expectation still quietly linger within their hearts. The deepest cause of this suffering lies in the inability to let go, for the ego still clings tightly and wishes to accumulate blessings for itself alone. When one performs virtuous deeds while remaining attached to personal merit, an invisible blockage is unknowingly created within the natural flow of blessings. It is like a river that has been obstructed, where water can no longer move freely and eventually becomes stagnant and lifeless. Even a pond filled with water, if unable to circulate, will slowly become polluted and lose its ability to nourish life. In the same way, without dedication of merit, blessings cannot fully manifest their true potential, and the mind gradually becomes burdened again by suffering and unrest. If people continue performing good deeds while clinging tightly to attachment and refusing to open their hearts in compassion, their merit cannot truly flourish and will instead slowly diminish under the subtle influence of the ego. The story of a man living in the ancient imperial land became clear proof of this truth, for throughout his life he was widely known for his generosity and willingness to help others without hesitation. He had contributed to the building of schools, helped construct roads for villagers, and supported many poor families in overcoming hardship and suffering throughout their lives. Whenever people encountered hardship or suffering, they sought his help, and he always offered support with an open heart, earning the deep respect and admiration of everyone around him. Yet, despite all his generosity, misfortune still entered his household, and the peace he longed for within his family never truly arrived, leaving his heart burdened with quiet sorrow. His daughter abandoned the family, his son fell into destructive habits, and his wife lived for years in illness and constant anxiety. One day, while listening to a Dharma teaching at a temple, he heard a monk say that performing virtuous deeds without dedicating merit was like cooking food without knowing how to share it with others. That simple teaching awakened him deeply, helping him realize that for many years he had only accumulated merit without learning how to let its blessings flow outward. From that moment onward, he transformed the way he practiced, sincerely dedicating every virtuous deed to his ancestors, his family, and all sentient beings connected through karmic affinity. Every day after reciting the Buddha's name, he patiently continued the practice of dedication of merit without expecting reward, holding only sincerity within his heart. At first, no clear changes appeared, yet little by little, positive transformations quietly began unfolding within the family. His daughter eventually returned home after years of separation, while his son abandoned harmful ways and slowly rediscovered the correct path in life. His wife also gradually regained peace within her heart and no longer lived trapped in the constant fear and worry that had once consumed her. He came to understand that in the past, his merit had been locked away like treasures hidden inside a sealed storehouse. But through dedication of merit, the flow of blessings was finally allowed to circulate freely. The teachings explain that merit dedicated to others resembles water flowing endlessly into the vast ocean, never diminishing, but instead becoming ever more abundant. Those who truly understand dedication of merit do not fear losing blessings, for the more they give, the more naturally their merit continues to grow. They are like cool streams of water flowing gently through countless places, nourishing life and bringing benefit to all beings. When the heart no longer clings to blessings for itself alone, it becomes light, clear, and spacious like the boundless sky. Within such a state, worldly worries, conflicts, and attachments gradually fade away, leaving only serenity and deep inner peace behind. Once we truly understand this teaching, we realize that doing good deeds alone is not enough, for they must also be performed with a heart of letting go and guided through proper dedication of merit. It is precisely this expansion of the heart that not only lightens one's own burdens, but also gradually brings harmony and warmth back into the family. In life, there are forms of suffering that cannot be explained by ordinary logic because they arise from deep karmic forces accumulated over many lifetimes. Some people are born carrying illness, while others struggle endlessly despite living kindly in the present, still facing hardship after hardship without understanding why. The Buddha taught that these are the results of karmic conditions accumulated through many lifetimes that have not yet been resolved. And it is proper dedication of merit that becomes the key capable of loosening those invisible knots of karmic entanglement. When we dedicate merit to karmic creditors and beings with whom we hold unresolved resentment, it is not an act of superiority or charity, but a sincere confession arising from the depths of the soul. Even though we may not know who they are or what karmic ties once existed, we still open our hearts in apology and wish sincerely for their peace and well-being. For karmic bonds never arise from one side alone, but from countless intertwined causes and conditions woven together across time. When sincerity and dedication of merit arise within the heart, old resentments gradually dissolve and transform into wholesome and compassionate energy. It is like a clenched hand tightened by anger, which can only release its tension once it finally opens and lets go. Dedication of merit is precisely the act of releasing resentment and replacing it with boundless compassion, so the heart may become free, peaceful, and at ease. Dedication of merit is the arising of true compassion itself, a silent vow wishing for all resentments to dissolve and for all sentient beings to find peace and freedom from suffering. It is like sending a heartfelt letter of apology, which, even without immediate forgiveness, has already begun a profound process of transformation within the consciousness. There once lived an elderly man in a peaceful countryside village who spent his entire life sacrificing and working tirelessly for his family. Yet, in old age, witnessed many painful disturbances arise within his home. After his life companion passed away, his children and grandchildren continually encountered hardship, some falling ill, while others suffered financial failure, causing the atmosphere within the house to remain heavy and sorrowful. There were nights when he dreamed of unfamiliar, shadowy figures standing sadly before his doorway, as though wishing to speak, only to quietly fade away into silence. One day, after being brought to a temple by a relative to listen to Dharma teachings, he finally came to understand the meaning of dedicating merit to karmic creditors and unresolved beings from past lives. Those teachings moved him deeply, helping him realize that the suffering in his family may not have originated solely from the present lifetime, but also from ancient karmic ties that had never been healed. From that day onward, he began sincerely repenting and dedicating all the merit he had accumulated to those beings who may once have been harmed by himself or by his family lineage. He prayed for nothing personal in return, wishing only that old resentments would dissolve and that all beings might become lighter in karma and peaceful in spirit. Every single day, he recited the Buddha's name, chanted sutras, and dedicated merit with unwavering sincerity, never allowing even one day to pass without practice. After some time, he began dreaming of peaceful and radiant images that felt like silent expressions of gratitude from unseen beings, leaving his heart lighter, as though a burden carried for many years had finally been released. From then onward, the atmosphere within the family gradually became warmer and more harmonious, while illnesses and hardships also began improving in ways that seemed almost miraculous. He rarely spoke about these experiences, but quietly continued his practice, maintaining a peaceful mind and living slowly with mindfulness and awareness. That story caused many people to reflect deeply upon the invisible connections between past and present, between karmic forces and the unfolding of human life. Perhaps the suffering we experience today is not merely the result of present actions alone, but also the continuation of countless causes and conditions carried forward from long ago. For this reason, the practice of dedication of merit is not meant only for monks or spiritual practitioners, but is a necessary path for anyone who sincerely wishes to transform suffering and find peace. When we understand how to dedicate merit, we no longer keep blessings only for ourselves, but widen the heart to share goodness with all living beings everywhere. Within that very expansion of the heart, we gradually free ourselves from the endless cycle of resentment and suffering, not because anyone punishes us, but because we finally learn to let go. If anyone feels burdened by life or troubled by unrest within the family, they should try returning to the practice of Buddha recitation, repentance, and dedicating merit to all karmic ties connected to them. Even if visible results do not appear immediately, deep within the unseen layers of karma, transformation has already begun to take shape. According to the teachings, each person carries not only personal karma, but is also influenced by the collective karma of family and society. It is like standing beneath a shelter during heavy rain, where even while protected, one may still be touched by droplets splashing from every direction.
Yet if within a family there is even one person who sincerely cultivates spiritual practice and dedicates merit correctly, the light of that virtue will spread outward and help dissolve part of the family's shared karma. This principle is not something mystical or supernatural, but simply the natural law governing consciousness and the energy of human life. When an entire family lives in anger, resentment, and conflict, everyone becomes trapped within the same whirlpool of uneasiness and suffering. On the other hand, if only one person can maintain compassion and mindful awareness, that individual becomes like a lamp shining brightly within the darkness of night. Though the light may appear small, it still possesses enough power to dispel darkness and bring warmth to the entire surrounding space. A sincere heart directed toward goodness not only creates blessings for oneself, but also awakens dormant seeds of kindness within others. There once was a gentle woman living in a deeply troubled family, where her husband's temper and her children's lack of direction caused constant instability and sorrow within the home. Yet, through her patient dedication to spiritual practice and sincere dedication of merit, she slowly became a peaceful refuge, helping her family gradually transform and rediscover harmony. There were evenings when the atmosphere inside the house felt unbearably heavy, where family members sat near one another physically, while their hearts remained painfully distant, as though an invisible stone pressed upon every breath. Within such circumstances, the woman happened one day to hear a Dharma teaching about dedication of merit, and suddenly realized that this practice was not merely about sharing blessings, but also about transforming one's own inner world. Those who truly understand this meaning will never allow merit to become frozen within attachment, but instead open pathways for the light of goodness to spread everywhere. From then onward, she began changing the rhythm of her daily life, and every evening, after finishing household duties, she would sit before the Buddha altar, light incense, chant sutras, and recite the Buddha's name with sincere reverence. At first, she simply dedicated merit for the peace and safety of her family, but gradually, her heart expanded toward her parents, ancestors, and even karmic creditors from many past lives.
She patiently maintained this practice for a long period of time, without longing for results, holding only a sincere and unwavering vow within her heart. After some time, subtle changes quietly began appearing as her once cold and distant husband slowly became calmer, gentler, and more caring toward the family. Her son, who had previously been careless and distracted, also gradually transformed, becoming more responsible in his studies and more mindful in his behavior. Her young daughter likewise became obedient, disciplined in daily life, and healthier both physically and emotionally than before. When the period of dedicated practice had passed, the greatest miracle was not merely the transformation of her loved ones, but the profound peace that it awakened within her own heart. She no longer wished for others to change according to her expectations, but simply maintained inner peace, allowing that peaceful energy to naturally spread throughout the household. When people asked her secret, she only smiled gently and replied that everything came from dedicating merit with a selfless heart, never keeping blessings for herself alone, but sharing them with all beings. Dedication of merit is not a miracle that appears instantly, but rather a quiet flame, slowly melting the frozen layers of karma accumulated over many years. Those who understand dedication of merit are planting wholesome seeds not only for themselves, but also for their families and future generations. According to the teachings, if even one person within a family practices sincerely and correctly, the entire household may receive blessings, though this requires genuine devotion and deep spiritual discipline. If anyone today feels anxious about unrest within their family, they should begin with themselves, through one wholesome thought, one sacred verse, and one sincere vow of dedication. As long as a single person gives rise to a pure and wholesome intention, blessings can spread gently throughout the family, like ripples expanding across still water. Many people believe that dedication of merit is reserved only for those who possess vast spiritual virtue. But in truth, a sincere heart alone is already enough. There is no need for wealth or grand external forms, because even one wholesome thought can become immeasurable merit when dedicated in the proper way. Whether it is a single recitation of the Buddha's name or a small act of kindness, if it arises from a heart free of attachment, its merit can spread outward like waves created from a tiny point of contact. There once was an elderly woman living a humble life, selling simple goods each day to survive. Yet she always maintained the habit of reciting the Buddha's name and dedicating merit faithfully. Though unable to read or write, she still sincerely counted her prayer beads while reciting the Buddha's name and dedicating merit to all sentient beings and those still trapped in suffering. It was precisely this sincerity that allowed her heart to remain peaceful and spread calming energy to everyone around her. Dedication of merit, therefore, is not something distant or unreachable, but a simple yet profound path, capable of transforming suffering into peace and joy within everyday life. Day after day, Whether under rain or sunshine, whether business prospered or became difficult, she continued her daily practice of Buddha recitation and dedication of merit as an inseparable part of life, like breath itself, nourishing the soul. Whenever someone asked how a poor woman like her, who recited only a few sacred words each day, could possibly possess enough merit to dedicate, she simply smiled gently and replied that what truly mattered was not abundance, but whether the heart remained peaceful. She believed that even small blessings, when dedicated every day with sincerity, were like tiny drops of water that gradually fill a vessel over time and are never truly lost. Remarkably, ever since she embraced this way of living, although she never possessed great material wealth, she also never lacked what was needed and was always surrounded by the affection of others. Those who knew her often said that her sticky rice was not only delicious, but also carried a strange warmth, as though a quiet peace flowed through every grain. Some travelers even came from far away to the market just to buy her sticky rice, offering extra money out of admiration and kindness. Yet she always humbly accepted only enough and maintained a peaceful, unattached heart. Even in old age, with a weakened body and no longer able to work as steadily as before, the elderly woman never abandoned her habit of reciting the Buddha's name and dedicating merit whenever possible. One day, kind-hearted people came to visit and helped repair her leaking roof, deeply moved by her generous spirit, despite the many hardships and limitations within her life. Her story helped many people realize that dedication of merit is not reserved only for long-time practitioners, but is a path of opening the heart, available to anyone willing to live for others. It is the practice of letting go of the desire to keep merit for oneself alone and replacing it with the sincere wish that all beings may find peace and liberation. A wealthy person who does not know how to dedicate merit is like someone lighting a lamp only to cover its light, while a person with little merit who knows how to share can allow that light to spread far and wide. The secret of dedication of merit does not lie in the quantity of virtuous deeds performed, but in the quality and purity of the heart offering those blessings. A vast and compassionate heart can make even the smallest action become deeply meaningful, while a narrow and selfish mind can render even great deeds empty and without value. Therefore, even if one lives simply and lacks the ability to accomplish grand acts, maintaining a peaceful mind and dedicating merit each day is already a true path of cultivation. One does not need wealth or high education, for simply learning to think of others already plants wholesome seeds within the world. Ordinary people like her teach us that blessings arise from the heart itself, not from outward appearances or social status. In modern life, many parents feel anxious when their children become difficult to guide, lost in distractions and pleasures while neglecting their responsibilities and studies. Some people blame circumstances, while others believe such behavior is an unchangeable nature. Yet, under the light of the Buddha's teachings, all things arise through karma and conditions. children are not merely the result of blood relations, but also carry karmic ties from many lifetimes, influenced deeply by family lineage and ancestral conditions. For this reason, raising children requires not only material support, but also compassion and wisdom, so they may develop a strong moral foundation. One of the deepest methods is to sincerely practice spiritual cultivation and dedicate merit to one's children with a selfless and compassionate heart. Dedication of merit is not merely spoken words, but the transmission of wholesome energy wishing for children to transform and walk a better path in life. There once was a mother whose heart suffered greatly as she watched her son become consumed by meaningless pleasures, neglect his studies, and ignore all guidance and advice. During those painful times, she turned toward the path of spiritual cultivation and began reciting the Buddha's name while dedicating merit to her son every day with boundless love. She no longer blamed or forced him, but quietly prayed that he would awaken and rediscover the proper direction in life. Every single day, that mother continued her practice faithfully, no matter how exhausted she became, because she understood that perseverance is the foundation of all deep transformation. At first, nothing seemed to change, and her son remained stubborn and absorbed within his own isolated world, causing her heart to grow weary many times. Then, one evening, the boy unexpectedly approached his mother with unfamiliar eyes and asked why he often dreamed of being lost and hearing her voice calling him home, as though something deep within his consciousness had been stirred awake. The mother simply stroked her son's head gently and smiled softly, because she understood that her silent dedication of merit had begun reaching places ordinary words could never touch. After some time, small transformations gradually appeared as the boy began eating properly, studying willingly, and slowly freeing himself from dependence upon meaningless distractions. There were even days when he voluntarily helped his mother with household chores without being reminded, something that had never happened before. As time continued passing, the transformation became clearer when teachers began noticing his positive attitude and improvement in school. The mother felt emotional, not because of achievements or success, but because she realized that sincere love and dedication of merit had opened a hidden doorway within her child's soul. This was not a miracle in the supernatural sense, but the natural result of unconditional compassion combined with proper spiritual practice. Just like a seed planted within fertile soil, when the right conditions arise, it naturally sprouts and blossoms without force or coercion. No child is born inherently bad, for every personality is shaped through karma, environment, and the absence of guiding light. Parents are the ones entrusted to carry that lamp, and every daily practice and every dedication of merit becomes another ray of light illuminating the path for their children. If there are still children within a family who are difficult to guide, one should not despair too quickly, but instead return inward and awaken the light of compassion within oneself. Even a small daily practice, one sincere recitation of the Buddha's name, followed by dedication of merit with unconditional love, is already the first step toward transformation. This path does not demand immediate results, because just as trees require time to grow, karma also requires time to transform. Yet if one continues watering the heart every day with faith and perseverance, sooner or later, peaceful blossoms will bloom within the family. Dedication of merit is not meant only for those we love, but is also the journey of expanding the heart toward those who once caused us suffering. At that point, dedication of merit is no longer merely words, but becomes a profound inner transformation from anger into peace, from attachment into compassion. According to the teachings, true compassion does not distinguish between loved ones and enemies, but spreads everywhere, like light shining equally upon all things. Dedicating merit to those who once caused us pain is the true test, revealing the depth of our forgiveness and the strength of our inner spirit. There once was a man who carried deep resentment within his heart after being betrayed and losing the achievements he had spent many years building. That painful wound caused him to become withdrawn, distant from others, and constantly burdened by dark and negative thoughts. Through the guidance of loved ones, he gradually encountered the Buddha's teachings and listened to Dharma talks about dedication of merit and the practice of letting go of resentment. At first, he remained doubtful. Yet, when he heard about the power of dedicating merit to the very person who had caused him suffering, something within his heart quietly began to tremble. After many sleepless nights of reflection, he finally decided to begin practicing, and, for the first time, sincerely dedicated merit to the person who had once wounded him so deeply. Though still hesitant within his heart, he joined his palms together, recited the Buddha's name, and vowed to dedicate his small amount of merit to the person who had hurt him, sincerely wishing for their resentment to be dissolved. He poured both his faith and all the pain he had endured into that vow, praying that the other person might awaken, turn toward goodness, and no longer create suffering for anyone else in life. At first, those prayers were difficult for him to speak, because although his lips recited the words, his heart still remained tangled in attachment and unable to let go completely. Yet over time, each vow slowly penetrated deeper into his consciousness, and night after night, he quietly reflected upon the past, not to continue blaming, but to learn forgiveness through deeper understanding. After a long period of perseverance, he eventually met again the person who had once caused him so much pain, and instead of avoiding or condemning them, he approached calmly with gentle words that released the burdens of the past. The other person stood speechless with emotion, while he himself felt an unmistakable lightness spreading throughout his heart, as though heavy clouds had dissolved, and the burden of hatred no longer remained. From that day onward, his face became gentler, his smile appeared more often, and even his relationships with others gradually grew warm again, because his inner world had been transformed. He realized that in the past, he believed doing good meant only helping others materially, but now understood that forgiving those who once caused him suffering was the greatest blessing of all. Truly, Dedication of merit is not only the act of offering virtue to others, but also the journey of opening the heart and freeing oneself from the invisible chains of resentment and attachment. When we sincerely wish for those who once caused us pain to find peace and happiness, we are also loosening the knots within our own hearts and stepping beyond the endless cycle of anger and ignorance. Even a single thought of compassion, though seemingly small, can soothe the dry and wounded places within consciousness, just like a drop of pure water reviving barren earth with new life. A sincere dedication of merit offered toward someone once considered an enemy not only transforms them, but also transforms ourselves, creating profound change on both sides. The practice of dedication of merit does not distinguish between loved ones and strangers, nor between affection and resentment. And it is precisely this impartial compassion that gives rise to its miraculous, transformative power. If the image of someone who once hurt you still remains within your heart, try reciting the Buddha's name and dedicating merit to them, not because they necessarily deserve it, but because you deserve peace within yourself. When we pray sincerely for the peace of others, our own hearts gradually become calmer as well, and the path of cultivation from then onward no longer feels lonely, but filled with the light of awakening. There are illnesses in life that medicine struggles to fully explain, because their roots do not lie solely within the body, but within deep karmic forces accumulated across countless lifetimes. Unresolved resentments and anger that has never been released become the hidden source of much silent suffering carried by human beings throughout life. Dedication of merit is like a cool stream flowing gently into those dark places, gradually washing away traces of old karma and opening a path of healing from within. When a single, genuine thought of compassion arises, not only do blessings increase, but opportunities for karmic transformation also begin unfolding, for oneself and loved ones alike. There once was a young woman who, out of deep love for her seriously ill father, dedicated merit every single day and offered all the virtue from her practice with profound sincerity and reverence. She did not rely upon elaborate rituals, but simply maintained a sincere heart, praying that her father's karmic illness would gradually dissolve, invisible karmic bonds be released, and peace return to both his body and spirit. Every day she cared for her father while quietly reciting the Buddha's name, allowing every action to carry the energy of love and unwavering perseverance. Within that very silence, merit slowly accumulated and spread outward, like hidden streams nourishing dry land while patiently waiting for wholesome transformation to emerge. After a long period of maintaining compassion and silently making heartfelt vows, an unexpected blessing finally appeared, as though responding from the mysterious depths of karmic connection she had never imagined. In a strange dream, she saw her father sitting upon a small boat drifting through murky water, symbolizing unresolved karma and suffering that still clung to him. Each time she joined her palms and recited the Buddha's name within the dream, the water before the boat gradually became clearer, as though layers of karmic obstruction were being washed away by the power of sincere devotion. When the sound of Buddha recitation became full and complete, the water suddenly turned radiant and pure. The boat gently reached the shore, and her father stepped onto land with peaceful eyes, no longer burdened by suffering. Awakening from that dream, deeply moved, she carried that faith into daily life, and by the following morning already noticed subtle signs of change within her father's body. From a slight movement of his hand to small physical responses throughout his body, each change, though tiny, became a sign that transformation was quietly taking place. As time passed, those signs became clearer as he gradually regained movement, produced faint sounds, and slowly recovered part of his physical strength. Joy spread throughout the family, not only because of his improving health, but also because of the transformation within his character after so many dark and difficult years. He became gentler, more willing to listen, more devoted in joining his palms before the Buddha, and smiled more often, like someone who had finally awakened from a long nightmare of suffering. He himself even spoke of dreams in which he was called back from clear and peaceful waters, as though there existed a mysterious connection between his daughter's heartfelt vows and the depths of his karmic consciousness. The daughter came to realize that dedication of merit was not merely empty speech, but a key capable of opening hidden doors within consciousness where karma and blessings quietly intersect. Not every transformation appears immediately, yet when the heart becomes sincere enough, selfless enough, and truly directed toward the liberation and happiness of others, that energy reaches the deepest roots of karma. Merit is like water flowing persistently over time, capable of wearing away stone, while sincerity is like a steady light that gradually dispels the darkness of ignorance. Karmic illness may exist, yet it is not fixed forever, because when the right causes and conditions arise through proper dedication of merit and genuine love, transformation slowly becomes possible. Dedication of merit is the sacred thread connecting blessings with body and mind, connecting the love of the living with the unseen depths of karmic forces. Even if only one person within a family sincerely gives rise to compassionate vows, waves of transformation can still spread outward to everyone around them. If someone within the household is suffering from illness, do not rely solely upon medicine, but also nurture wholesome vows born from deep sincerity and compassion. Even a small dedication of merit can become a bridge helping loved ones cross beyond suffering and move toward a peaceful path ahead. In life, people often speak of remembering their roots and ancestors, yet in a deeper sense, those roots are not merely memories, but streams of blessings and karma passed down through generations. Each human being resembles a branch upon a great tree, while the roots beneath are the accumulated karma and merit of countless lifetimes, silently shaping the present moment. When those roots become wounded through mistakes of the past, dedication of merit becomes the cool water, capable of restoring vitality and nourishing the tree of blessings once more. There are families that gradually weaken without understanding the reason, where one misfortune follows another. And this may be the manifestation of karmic burdens from many past lifetimes that have not yet been resolved. Yet there are also families transformed through the sincere practice and dedication of merit of even one person. Just as light quietly enters darkness and dissolves the shadows that have accumulated over time. The story of an elderly man who came to realize this truth became living proof that even a single sincere thought can alter the course of destiny itself. Throughout most of his life, he burned incense only out of habit and never truly understood the deeper meaning of dedication of merit until karmic conditions guided him toward those profound teachings. When he realized that dedicating merit to his ancestors was also one of the deepest forms of filial devotion, he began transforming his life from within and opened a path of healing for his entire family. From that day onward, he faithfully recited the Buddha's name every early morning and before sleep each night, using the practice as a foundation for cultivating purity of mind and planting lasting, wholesome roots. After every session of recitation, he respectfully joined his palms before the ancestral altar, offering his deepest gratitude and raising sincere vows from the depths of his soul. He vowed to dedicate all the merit generated from Buddha recitation and every virtuous deed throughout his life to the ancestors of many generations and to all spirits within the lineage still bound by suffering and unable to find liberation. With complete sincerity, he prayed that through the light of the Buddha's teachings, those who had passed away might lessen their karmic burdens and soon find peaceful and pure realms of existence. If mistakes or harmful karma had once been created within the family lineage, he sincerely repented on behalf of the ancestors and humbly offered his small amount of merit in hopes of helping dissolve those invisible karmic ties. He continued this practice faithfully for a long period of time without seeking personal gain, directing his heart only toward gratitude and remembrance of his roots. Gradually, peaceful transformations began appearing as the family became calmer and no longer experienced the disturbances that once troubled them constantly. His eldest son returned home with the determination to rebuild his life, while the younger son slowly transformed as well, learning a trade and becoming more responsible. He himself also felt improvements in his health, and his sleep became deeper and more peaceful, like a gentle reward born from inner transformation. In a meaningful dream, he encountered deceased relatives smiling warmly at him, as though silently confirming that his dedication of merit had reached the unseen world. Awakening with deep emotion, he became even more steadfast upon the path he had chosen and regarded Buddha recitation, sutra chanting, and dedication of merit as essential as breathing itself. Many people still believe that dedication of merit is reserved only for advanced spiritual practitioners. Yet in truth, a sincere heart alone is enough to begin. Regardless of age or education, every recitation of the Buddha's name and every act of goodness offered to one's ancestors with gratitude becomes a guiding light illuminating the roots of the family lineage. When ancestors find peace and liberation, wholesome energy naturally flows through the bloodline and brings blessings to future generations. Just as a tree with roots deeply anchored in fertile soil can grow lush branches and bear abundant fruit, a family grounded in wholesome roots flourishes with lasting strength. If the water at the source remains pure and clear, the streams flowing afterward will also remain cool and life-giving wherever they travel. Therefore, whenever a family experiences unrest or descendants face repeated hardship, one should quiet the heart and begin with a single, sincere recitation of the Buddha's name, followed by dedication of merit to the ancestors.
Light incense not merely through outward ritual, but with a heart overflowing with gratitude, allowing those vows to reach unseen realms beyond ordinary perception. Who knows whether one sincere dedication of merit today may become the key opening profound transformation for an entire lineage in the future. Within this ever-changing world, there are families repeatedly struck by adversity without understanding why, believing such suffering to be an unchangeable destiny. Yet under the light of the Buddha's teachings, all things arise through causes, conditions, and karma, and repeated suffering often reveals deep roots that have not yet been transformed. That karma belongs not only to individuals, but also to the collective resonance of an entire bloodline silently influencing generation after generation. If no one awakens and begins the process of transformation, the darkness of karmic burdens will continue spreading and prevent the family from finding peace and light. But when even one person sincerely gives rise to repentance and dedicates merit correctly, that light gradually spreads outward and brings healing to the entire family. The story of a woman from a poor countryside village became clear proof of this power when she devoted herself to spiritual practice without seeking personal benefit. Though born into hardship within a family line burdened by many difficulties across generations, she still preserved a kind heart and unwavering faith in the path of transformation. After hearing profound teachings about dedication of merit, she quietly reflected upon them and began changing herself through the smallest daily actions. She awoke before dawn each morning, recited the Buddha's name with a pure heart, and dedicated all the resulting merit to her family lineage without asking anything for herself. She silently raised wholesome vows each day, dedicating all the merit from Buddha recitation to generations of ancestors and to all spirits within both sides of the family who still remained bound by suffering, offering her sincerity without interruption. She also directed her heart toward the karmic creditors of the family, toward unresolved karmic ties that had never found peace, praying that all beings might release resentment and find liberation through the light of the Dharma. Her prayers were never elaborate or decorative, but arose from a truthful heart, wishing that the light of compassion would reach every hidden corner of the lineage, lighten karmic burdens, and bring peace to future generations. For a very long time, she maintained this practice as naturally as breathing itself, never forgetting to recite the Buddha's name and dedicate merit, whether she was cooking meals or sitting quietly alone. She did not pray for wealth or high status for her descendants, but only hoped that the family would live peacefully, love one another sincerely, and gradually overcome illness and suffering. Then, miraculous changes slowly began appearing when her son, once lost in addiction, voluntarily transformed himself and rediscovered the proper path for his life. Her grandchild, once burdened by serious illness, gradually regained health, while her estranged daughter,
returned home willingly and restored family bonds with warmth and reconciliation. From then onward, the atmosphere within the family became lighter and more harmonious. Gentle words replaced arguments, and many relatives also began visiting temples to learn the Dharma. Whenever people asked about her secret, she simply smiled gently and said that everything came from the blessings of the Buddha and her uninterrupted daily practice of dedication of merit. She understood that she had accomplished nothing grand or extraordinary, but had merely lived kindly and offered each small merit to the ancestors, quietly planting wholesome karmic connections for the entire lineage. A dedication of merit arising from the proper heart is like cool water nourishing the roots of a withering tree of blessings, silently restoring life so that it may bloom and bear fruit once again. When the roots are nourished with sincerity and compassion, the fruits of transformation begin appearing through harmony, through gentle smiles, and through hearts that choose forgiveness instead of resentment. If anyone is living within a troubled and chaotic family situation, please do not surrender to despair too quickly, but begin instead by lighting a small lamp within your own heart, though that light may seem tiny against the vast darkness of night. If it is protected with patience and perseverance, it will gradually illuminate the path and spread warmth to many people nearby. When that lamp becomes the vast vow of dedication of merit, joined with boundless compassion, free from discrimination, it will illuminate not only one lifetime, but also generations yet to come. For a person who understands dedication of merit does not merely transform themselves, but also helps guide an entire family lineage toward the light of peace and wisdom. Many people, upon hearing about dedication of merit, fear that sharing their virtue will diminish their own blessings, because they still cling to the sense of self and possession. Yet, according to the deeper teachings, merit is not like limited material wealth, for when shared properly, it continues to grow stronger and spread endlessly. If dedication of merit is practiced with sincerity and selflessness, not only does it remain perfectly aligned with the law of karma, but wholesome results may also arise more quickly and profoundly. The essence of this teaching lies within the mind itself, because the mind is the root of every action and the source determining the formation and outcome of all karmic conditions. When a person performs good deeds while still clinging to pride or attachment to merit, blessings become limited and cannot fully flourish. On the other hand, when one performs virtuous deeds while letting go and dedicating merit to all beings, the heart expands greatly, and blessings become pure and enduring like a cool, flowing stream. Proper dedication of merit means that after every wholesome action, one sincerely wishes for all sentient beings to receive benefit and happiness, without holding anything back for oneself. When there is no longer any desire for reward or accumulation for personal gain, the heart becomes light and opens the doorway leading toward immeasurable blessings. It is precisely this spirit of letting go that purifies wholesome causes and allows virtuous results to arise swiftly and spread deeply throughout life. The story of a small market vendor who once misunderstood dedication of merit became clear proof that clinging tightly to blessings can make the heart heavy, exhausted, and spiritually blocked. When she only wished to preserve merit for herself alone, her heart gradually became dry and rigid, filled with anxiety and unable to experience true peace through spiritual practice. She quietly raised wholesome vows within herself, dedicating all the merit from Buddha recitation to generations of ancestors and to all spirits within both sides of the family who still remain trapped in suffering, offering her sincerity without interruption. She also directed her heart toward the karmic creditors of the lineage and toward unresolved karmic ties that had never been healed, praying that all beings might release resentment and find liberation through the light of the Dharma. Every prayer she offered was simple and unadorned, arising only from a truthful heart wishing that the light of compassion might reach every hidden corner of the family lineage, ease karmic burdens, and bring peace to future generations. For a long period of time, she maintained this practice as naturally as breathing itself, never forgetting to recite the Buddha's name and dedicate merit, whether she was cooking meals or sitting quietly alone. She did not pray for wealth or worldly success for her descendants, but only wished for peace within the family, mutual love among relatives, and the gradual easing of illness and suffering. Then miraculous changes slowly began to appear as the son who had once been trapped in addiction voluntarily transformed himself and rediscovered the proper path for his life. Her grandchild, who had once suffered from serious illness, gradually regained health, while her estranged daughter returned home willingly and restored broken family bonds with warmth and affection. From then onward, the atmosphere within the household became gentler and more peaceful. Kind words replaced arguments, and many relatives also began visiting temples to learn the Dharma. Whenever people asked her secret, she only smiled softly and explained that everything came from the blessings of the Buddha and from her uninterrupted daily practice of dedication of merit. She understood that she had accomplished nothing extraordinary, but had simply lived kindly and offered each small virtue to the ancestors, planting wholesome karmic connections for the entire lineage. A dedication of merit arising from a sincere heart is like cool water nourishing the roots of a tree of blessings that had begun to dry out, silently restoring life so it may bloom and bear fruit once again. When the roots are nourished with sincerity and compassion, the fruits of transformation begin appearing through harmony, through gentle smiles, and through hearts that choose forgiveness instead of resentment. If anyone is living within a troubled and chaotic family situation, please do not surrender to despair too quickly, but begin instead by lighting a small lamp within your own heart. Though that light may seem tiny against the vast darkness of night, if it is protected with patience and perseverance, it will gradually illuminate the path and spread warmth to many people nearby. When that lamp becomes the vast vow of dedication of merit, joined with boundless compassion free from discrimination, it will illuminate not only one lifetime, but also generations yet to come.
For a person who understands, dedication of merit does not merely transform themselves, but also helps guide an entire family lineage toward the light of peace and wisdom. Many people, upon hearing about dedication of merit, fear that sharing their virtue will diminish their own blessings,
because they still cling to the sense of self and possession. Yet according to the deeper teachings, merit is not like limited material wealth, for when shared properly, it continues to grow stronger and spread endlessly. If dedication of merit is practiced with sincerity and selflessness, not only does it remain perfectly aligned with the law of karma, but wholesome results may also arise more quickly and profoundly. The essence of this teaching lies within the mind itself, because the mind is the root of every action and the source determining the formation and outcome of all karmic conditions. When a person performs good deeds while still clinging to pride or attachment to merit, blessings become limited and cannot fully flourish. On the other hand, when one performs virtuous deeds while letting go and dedicating merit to all beings, the heart expands greatly and blessings become pure and enduring, like a cool, flowing stream. Proper dedication of merit means that after every wholesome action, one sincerely wishes for all sentient beings to receive benefit and happiness without holding anything back for oneself. When there is no longer any desire for reward or accumulation for personal gain, the heart becomes light and opens the doorway leading toward immeasurable blessings. It is precisely this spirit of letting go that purifies wholesome causes and allows virtuous results to arise swiftly and spread deeply throughout life.
The story of a woman who earned her living through small trade and once misunderstood the meaning of dedication of merit became living proof that clinging to blessings can burden the heart and create spiritual stagnation. When she thought only of keeping merit for herself, her heart slowly became rigid and anxious, filled with endless worries and unable to experience peace within her practice. Only after she realized that dedication of merit meant expansion rather than loss did she begin transforming inwardly and finally experience the gentle flow of blessings moving naturally through her life. A person who understands dedication of merit is like someone sowing seeds into fertile soil where they may sprout and flourish, while one who keeps blessings only for themselves is like holding seeds tightly in the hand, yet never witnessing a harvest. From the moment she understood this truth, she transformed the way she practiced. And every time she bowed before the Buddha or chanted sutras, she joined her palms with an open and sincere heart. She vowed to dedicate all the merit she created toward all sentient beings, toward wandering spirits still trapped in suffering, toward parents and ancestors from many lifetimes, and toward karmic creditors still bound within the flow of karma. She no longer prayed for wealth or personal gain, but only wished for enough wholesome conditions to live honestly, raise her children through right livelihood, and nurture compassion within the family. After a long period of steadfast practice and uninterrupted dedication of merit, gentle yet unmistakable changes slowly began appearing throughout her life. Her small business gradually became more stable, and opportunities unexpectedly returned through old connections, as though blessings accumulated and spread quietly through unseen karmic ties. Her eldest son, once careless about his studies, suddenly became more disciplined and began pursuing an honest profession, while her young daughter also became gentler and more respectful. Although her life did not become materially wealthy, her inner world grew rich with peace, stability, and wholesome spiritual energy.
Through this transformation, her compassion naturally spread to people around her, inspiring many to learn Buddha recitation and dedication of merit as a path toward peace and happiness. Many people realized that ever since she changed inwardly, even the atmosphere around her seemed calmer and more harmonious, as though wholesome energy itself had influenced the surrounding environment. From this, one may understand that dedication of merit does not diminish blessings, but rather multiplies them, expands them, and deepens their spiritual power. Those who know how to dedicate merit lose nothing at all, but instead receive inner peace, boundless compassion, and the lightness of a heart capable of letting go. When properly understood and practiced correctly, dedication of merit does not oppose the law of karma, but harmonizes with the deeper principles of causes and conditions, allowing wholesome fruits to arise more swiftly and enduringly. However, not everyone who practices immediately sees results, because the true effectiveness of dedication of merit lies not in outward form, but in the sincerity and quality of the heart during practice. If dedication of merit becomes only empty words spoken mechanically, while the mind remains burdened by anxiety and attachment, then the merit cannot truly spread or reveal its transformative power. A vow that does not arise from sincere intention is like damp incense that cannot release fragrance or rise upward into the air. One common mistake is dedicating merit while still secretly seeking fame, praise, or personal benefit from virtuous actions. Though such intentions still contain goodness, they remain limited by attachment to the self, causing blessings to stay confined within finite boundaries rather than leading toward deeper liberation. When a person performs good deeds while remaining attached to results, it is like lighting a lamp only to illuminate oneself, where the light exists but lacks the power to guide others. Only when one releases conditions, dedicates merit selflessly, and wishes for the welfare of all beings, does merit become pure and spiritually transformative. There once was a man who had performed many charitable deeds while always expecting something in return, and therefore never experienced the peace or results he desired until he finally changed the way he dedicated merit. When he began dedicating merit without conditions and no longer sought exchange or reward, but simply wished for all beings to find peace, his heart became lighter and clearer than before. Although his material circumstances did not change dramatically, the peace within his mind and the positive transformation within his family became the clearest fruits of his practice. Another common mistake is the lack of perseverance. For some people practice only briefly and abandon the path when they do not immediately witness results. Dedication of merit is like planting a tree that requires daily care, watered continually through compassion and patience before it can sprout and bear fruit. This is not a practice promising instant results, but a long journey that gradually nourishes the heart and transforms karmic burdens over time. There are people who may not yet notice outward changes, yet when looking deeply within themselves, realize they have become less angry, less anxious, and more capable of love and understanding. It is precisely this inner transformation that becomes the clearest sign of practicing correctly, and the true foundation for all future blessings. The deepest transformation does not lie within external circumstances, but within the inner peace, where suffering gradually settles and compassion quietly blossoms day by day. An elderly woman living in the mountains once shared that every morning she quietly recited the Buddha's name and sincerely prayed for her lost grandson to return to a wholesome path. And although visible results did not appear immediately, her heart slowly became lighter, while her compassion deepened. For a very long time, she continued this practice patiently, and though her grandson had not yet clearly transformed, she no longer carried resentment within herself, but instead developed profound understanding and forgiveness. When karmic conditions finally ripened, the grandson voluntarily chose to change his life, like a seed that had silently received enough nourishment to sprout at the proper moment. That transformation did not arise from force or harsh correction, but from the energy of dedication of merit accumulated each day like drops of water slowly sinking deep into the earth. From this, we may understand that true dedication of merit must be practiced with sincerity, selflessness, and steady perseverance without interruption. Dedication of merit is not merely the ritual recitation of words, but the journey of nourishing the spirit, purifying the heart, and expanding compassion toward all beings. It is not an exchange or a request for reward, but an inner transformation where every wholesome thought is supported and allowed to spread beyond the limits of ego and attachment. As long as one adjusts the way of practice, reduces carelessness, abandons selfish expectation, and perseveres faithfully, merit will gradually accumulate and spread like water flowing in the proper direction. Within the busyness of modern life, not everyone has the opportunity to spend long hours chanting or meditating. Yet, this does not mean they cannot cultivate blessings. According to the Buddha's teachings, the most important factor is not whether the practice is long or short, but the sincerity of the heart and the ability to transform that sincerity into wholesome energy. Even a few mindful moments each day, if practiced correctly, are enough to open a continuous and enduring stream of blessings. Some people wonder how they can dedicate merit properly when they lack time. Yet, in truth, dedication of merit is not limited by rituals or external conditions. Any wholesome action, even something as small as comforting words or a sincere smile, can become an opportunity for dedication of merit when the heart is placed in the proper state. The simplest moments within daily life often carry the purest energy because they are free from calculation, pride, and expectation. Even within ordinary daily work, if one begins with a wholesome intention and vows to dedicate all goodness created throughout the day towards sentient beings, then the entire day itself becomes deeply meaningful. Through this practice, the heart is no longer bound by success or failure, praise or criticism, but gradually becomes lighter, more peaceful, and naturally gives rise to greater blessings. The moments before sleep are also precious opportunities for dedication of merit, when the mind becomes quiet and can more easily return to mindfulness and awareness. Simply remembering the wholesome actions performed during the day, even something as small as remaining patient or refraining from anger, is enough to awaken a sincere vow within the heart. From there, one may dedicate that merit to parents, to those connected through karmic affinity, and to all beings still suffering throughout the world. Only a few minutes of such stillness are enough to transform an ordinary day into a profound opportunity for planting deep spiritual blessings. There are people who remain busy, struggling for livelihood, yet still preserve the habit of sitting quietly every evening, remembering the Buddha and dedicating merit to loved ones who are ill. And through this, both body and mind gradually begin to transform. The true miracle does not lie in outward display, but in steady perseverance, like tiny drops of water that eventually fill an entire vessel over time. Most important of all is understanding the correct way to dedicate merit, complete with the 3 essential elements that allow a vow to become whole and spiritually transformative. First is directing the heart toward those who may receive benefit, such as parents, loved ones, karmic creditors, and all sentient beings throughout the Dharma realm. Next is generating the sincere wish that they may find peace, freedom from suffering, and guidance through the light of wisdom. Finally comes the letting go of all attachment, neither keeping merit for oneself, nor expecting personal gain from the dedication itself. Even a simple prayer, when arising from a sincere heart, can create a profound connection with the wholesome energies of the universe. There is no need for elaborate rituals or lengthy ceremonies, because as long as faith and sincerity remain steady, merit will not fade away, but continue growing stronger. Through this, the good deeds of daily life are not forgotten, but elevated into wholesome seeds planted within the boundless field of blessings throughout existence. When merit is dedicated with an open heart, it no longer remains small or limited, but gradually transforms into blessings and light spreading everywhere, nourishing both oneself and all beings throughout endless realms of life. For this reason, those who truly understand the Dharma do not wait until they have accumulated great merit before beginning dedication, nor do they wait for free time before practicing, but instead learn to seize every mindful moment to plant wholesome causes. Even during brief moments when the mind is calm and clear, dedication of merit can sink deeply, like cool water dripping into dry soil, eventually becoming a flowing spring, nourishing peace and joy. Among the countless seeds planted every day, some quickly sprout, while others require much time before blooming into flowers and fruit. And dedication of merit follows this same wondrous law. If one knows how to choose the right moment when the mind is peaceful, conditions are harmonious, and the heart is open, wholesome energy will not only spread far, but also root itself deeply within the subtle layers of life. There are 3 precious moments each day which, if used properly, allow merit to move forward like a boat carried gently by favorable winds toward the shore of peace. The first precious moment is early morning, when heaven and earth are just awakening and the human mind remains pure before becoming entangled in the worries of daily life. Simply sitting quietly for a few moments, reciting the Buddha's name and making one sincere vow can establish the entire day upon the foundation of goodness and mindfulness. A morning vow is like the first light of dawn illuminating the heart, dispelling the darkness of ignorance and opening a bright path for every action throughout the day. The second precious moment is after every virtuous deed, whether it is something great or merely a small act, such as patiently enduring harsh words or helping a stranger in need. When every wholesome act is joined with dedication of merit, that virtue no longer remains confined to the present moment, but spreads throughout past, present, and future like nourishing water, sustaining countless beings. Some people have shared that after every good deed, they silently dedicate merit to those living in hardship. And through this practice, their own hearts gradually heal and no longer blame life for suffering. The third precious moment is at night before sleep, when an entire day has come to an end with countless wholesome and unwholesome thoughts having arisen and passed away. Without dedication of merit, wholesome actions are easily forgotten or overtaken by the ego, preventing merit from becoming complete and pure. By simply becoming still, looking deeply within oneself, and offering all the goodness of the day with a heart free from attachment, an entire day of living becomes connected to the stream of awakening. A sincere prayer before sleep can become a bridge connecting ordinary daily existence with the profound spiritual path. These 3 moments symbolize the 3 stages of life itself: beginning, action, and completion. And when each stage is accompanied by wholesome intention, life becomes steady, like a boat upon the vast ocean. Planting wholesome seeds in the morning, nurturing them throughout the day, and offering them in the evening is the rhythm of life for one who practices mindful cultivation. When dedication of merit becomes as natural as breathing, each passing day no longer feels meaningless, but transforms into a journey of accumulating blessings and purifying the heart. There are people who live simply, yet continue such practice faithfully for many years without needing reminders or encouragement. And it is precisely this perseverance that creates peaceful energy, spreading naturally to everyone around them. Others who come near such people often feel a cool and gentle calmness, as though standing beside a clear mountain stream. For this is the blessing, born from a heart that does not cling to merit for itself alone. Therefore, dedication of merit is not only the key that opens the door to blessings, but also the art of living in harmony with the spiritual flow of life itself, knowing how to choose moments when the heart is clear, peaceful, and connected to wholesome conditions is precisely when dedication of merit carries its greatest power. There is no need to wait for special occasions or formal ceremonies, because even 3 simple moments each day are enough to transform life into a lasting path of cultivation. Gradually, each passing day becomes a silent staircase, lifting the soul higher and guiding human beings closer to true peace and liberation. A single drop of water falling into a small space quickly disappears. Yet when it merges with the ocean, it becomes part of something infinite. In the same way, a dedication of merit directed only toward personal benefit remains limited. But when expanded toward all sentient beings, its blessings become immeasurable and boundless. The Buddha once taught that blessings spread as far as the heart can expand. For when the mind remains narrow, merit easily becomes stagnant. But when the heart opens widely, virtue flows like a pure stream throughout the vast Dharma realm. Many people still believe that dedication of merit should be reserved only for parents, loved ones, or those who once helped them. And though this is wholesome, it still does not fully touch the profound completeness of the teaching. True dedication of merit arises when there is no longer any distinction between closeness and distance, love and dislike, but instead the vow transcends all boundaries and reaches even those we have never known in this life. It is the expansion of compassion toward beings who are suffering, trapped within ignorance, and silently longing for the light of loving kindness, even though no one has ever truly thought of them. There once was a woman who worked as a teacher and who only dedicated merit to her young child, praying that the child would remain healthy, obedient, and grow according to the wishes of a loving mother. For a long time, she repeated those prayers faithfully, yet they did not bring the deep transformation she had hoped for, until she listened to teachings about the vast heart of dedication of merit. From that moment onward, she changed the way she practiced and no longer limited her prayers to one beloved child, but expanded them toward all children in the world who lacked love and guidance. She sincerely wished that every child might have the opportunity to be loved and guided with wisdom and compassion. And at that very moment, her own heart began softening naturally. Strangely enough, ever since her heart expanded, the atmosphere within her classroom also changed, and students who had once been rebellious gradually became calmer and more willing to listen. Her own child also slowly became more independent and no longer clung to her in the same needy way as before, as though nourished by a gentle yet profound spiritual energy. Once, she gave special attention to a poor student who had been rejected and isolated by others, quietly dedicating merit to the child every day without expecting anything in return. After some time, that student changed remarkably and achieved excellent progress in school, helping her realize that her own compassionate heart had become a source of transformation. Dedicating merit to loved ones is already a beautiful and natural act. Yet dedicating merit to those who once caused us pain requires a far deeper level of inner release. And dedicating merit equally to all sentient beings, without distinguishing between familiar faces and strangers, requires a heart as vast and boundless as the ocean itself. When one reaches such a state, dedication of merit no longer feels like a deliberate action, but instead becomes the natural flow of compassion, like sunlight shining everywhere without preference or discrimination. Just as a river quietly flows through every land without distinguishing between beginning and end, the heart of dedication spreads evenly and gently toward all beings. The scriptures teach that when the mind becomes peaceful, the world itself grows peaceful. And when the heart becomes clear, karmic burdens gradually fade away, while dedication of merit serves as the bridge leading the mind toward such a state. When dedication of merit embraces the entire Dharma realm, one no longer sees oneself as a giver, but merely as a channel through which the energy of compassion flows naturally. Because there is no longer an ego clinging tightly to merit, the resulting blessings become immeasurable and beyond all worldly calculations. A simple suggestion for practitioners is that whenever they dedicate merit, they should also include a prayer wishing that all sentient beings may be freed from suffering and find lasting peace, allowing the heart to expand little by little each day. Even if such a prayer is brief, when it arises from sincerity, it carries tremendous spiritual energy, capable of touching even the deepest and subtlest layers of existence. If maintained consistently and naturally without force, the heart will gradually open by itself, like a doorway slowly widening to welcome light into a darkened room. The mind of dedication of merit is also a mirror reflecting the inner self, allowing us to see clearly whether attachment still remains or whether we have truly begun learning to let go. Each time the heart expands, attachment to the self weakens a little more, and every moment of releasing the ego naturally allows blessings to increase. Eventually, dedication of merit no longer needs to be spoken aloud, because it manifests through a gentle way of living, a forgiving spirit, and the constant wish for the happiness of others. A vast heart of dedication is like an open gate, inviting countless wholesome karmic connections, allowing merit to spread beyond one individual and touch many people nearby. That spiritual energy resembles the fragrance of lotus blossoms, quietly spreading through space, subtle yet profound, soothing hearts still burdened by karmic suffering. There is one simple truth that is difficult to practice, and that is maintaining dedication of merit every day as a natural part of daily life. Human beings often long for grand achievements, while forgetting that true blessings are created through small actions, repeated faithfully with sincerity. Just as a tree cannot grow from being watered only once, but requires steady care every day, dedication of merit also requires the same perseverance and constancy. Every vow planted today becomes a seed silently developing over time, until one day it blossoms into blessings without any need for force or expectation. Some people, after chanting sutras, feel deeply inspired and make vast vows wishing for peace for their parents, harmony within their families, and awakening and happiness for all beings. Yet, after only a few days, when life once again becomes filled with endless worries and responsibilities, those vows gradually fade away like the final petals of flowers falling at the end of a season. This does not mean they lacked sincerity, but rather that they had not yet cultivated the most essential quality upon the spiritual path, which is unwavering perseverance through time. The Buddha once taught that karmic burdens are not formed overnight, and therefore cannot be transformed instantly unless the heart becomes deep, stable, and enduring. Only a mind as steady as the earth and a practice as continuous as a river flowing endlessly can dissolve the habits and karmic tendencies accumulated over countless lifetimes. There once was a man with a fiery temper who constantly criticized his children and always felt that life was filled with suffering, never believing he possessed any meaningful merit at all. When he first heard teachings about dedication of merit, he remained doubtful, yet gradually came to understand that even one sincere, wholesome thought was enough to begin the journey of transformation. From that day onward, every evening after finishing his daily activities, he quietly sat before a small altar, recited a few sacred names of the Buddha, and raised a simple yet sincere prayer. He prayed only that his son might learn to listen more deeply, become less angry, and grow into a respectful and compassionate person, never asking for anything grand or extraordinary. Whether during sunny days or heavy rain, he never skipped the practice once, never complained, and never demanded quick results, but simply continued it quietly as a natural part of life. After some time, miracles slowly began appearing when the son who had once become distant returned home to apologize, and the family gradually rediscovered the warmth that had long been lost. Little by little, family meals became peaceful again, harsh shouting disappeared, and even the father himself realized that dedication of merit had become an inseparable rhythm within his life. That transformation did not arise from any magical force outside himself, but from patiently watering the heart every day, just as one cares for a tree until it naturally blossoms. Many people become impatient, believing that chanting one sutra or reciting a few Buddha names should instantly erase all karmic obstacles. Yet, the laws of life do not operate in such a way. No stream of water can wear down stone within a single day, just as merit must be accumulated gradually through long periods of faithful practice. Although dedication of merit may appear to be a small act, when repeated consistently, it becomes a peaceful spiritual energy capable of gently transforming one's entire life from within. Those who preserve this practice consistently will gradually change the way they view life, becoming less attached to winning and losing, less resentful in times of hardship, and more capable of understanding the suffering of others. From such a person, wholesome energy naturally spreads to family members, loved ones, and surrounding relationships, gently easing karmic burdens that may have accumulated over many years. Do not think that you must wait until life becomes less busy before dedicating merit. And do not postpone returning to the Dharma until everything feels stable, because ordinary daily life itself is the most suitable place for practice. Allow dedication of merit to become as natural as breathing, so that after returning home from work, you may still raise a wholesome thought. And while helping another person, you may also offer a sincere prayer. Before sleep, only one quiet moment is needed to send forth a compassionate intention, and even that is enough to nourish the heart and connect with the flowing stream of blessings. Those seemingly small prayers, when filled with gratitude and loving kindness, become hidden springs of cool water, quietly flowing through the deepest layers of karma. The Buddha taught that no wholesome act is ever meaningless, and dedication of merit itself becomes a virtuous act when performed sincerely and without expectation. When maintained as a habit, dedication of merit no longer remains a separate action, but gradually becomes a way of life and a way of thinking, always directed toward the benefit of others. It becomes a way of living that knows how to share blessings, plant seeds of goodness every day, and help calm the storms of human life. The ancient saying teaches that gentle rain eventually penetrates the earth, and likewise, dedication of merit, when practiced steadily, slowly nourishes the soil of the heart until it becomes fertile and peaceful. One day, the flowers of blessing will naturally bloom, and the practitioner themselves will become a small light guiding those who are still lost in darkness. Within this vast human life, there are things that seem beyond ordinary logic, yet they unfold when people return to wholesome intention and practice dedication of merit correctly. A single prayer arising from sincere compassion can reach the deepest layers of karma and create transformation without needing any external conditions at all. Through such simple vows, many people have transformed their lives, not through power or material wealth, but through wholesome intention and the willingness to share merit with all beings. There once was a humble farmer who endured one misfortune after another, with failed harvests and family troubles that slowly buried his heart beneath helpless sorrow. His youngest son fell deeply into debt. Hardship overwhelmed the household, and eventually the farmer himself became seriously ill, his body weakened, and his hands trembling with age and exhaustion. During moments of despair, he believed that fate had already been decided, and that nothing remained except to surrender to the current of life without hope for change. Yet during one fortunate visit to a nearby temple, he heard teachings about dedication of merit, and although he did not fully understand them at first, the words touched his consciousness in a mysterious way. The monk explained that virtuous actions are like planting the roots of blessings, but dedication of merit is the nourishing water, allowing that tree of blessings to grow and flower. From that day onward, he began practicing every day, chanting sacred verses, and afterward joining his palms sincerely to dedicate merit, without concern for outward formality. He prayed that his small amount of merit might help transform karmic burdens within the family, awaken his son from harmful ways, and bring peace and lightness to both body and mind. Unexpectedly, after a period of faithful practice, the son who had once gone astray voluntarily returned home, bowed before his parents in apology, and sincerely vowed to change his life. Soon afterward, the family's livelihood also began improving. The gardens and fields became fertile again, and even the farmer's illness gradually weakened. Day by day, he slowly regained strength in his body, found greater peace within his spirit, and realized that transformation had not come from outside forces, but from faith and sincere prayer practiced every day. He later shared that he no longer desired anything grand or extraordinary, because having a peaceful and clear heart was already enough for a gentle and meaningful life. Ever since maintaining dedication of merit faithfully, the atmosphere within his home became warm and harmonious, as though peaceful energy itself had spread through every corner. There was also a mother who once sank deeply into the pain of losing her child, living withdrawn from the world and endlessly tormenting herself within long months of darkness and grief. Each passing day became nothing more than silent tears shed before a small altar, while her soul remained imprisoned within memories too painful to release, until one day a friend gave her a sacred sutra and gently encouraged her to read it sincerely and dedicate the merit to her departed child. At first, she practiced almost mechanically, reading the sutra while her heart still remained filled with resentment and sorrow that could not yet be dissolved. Yet gradually, through each verse and each breath, her heart slowly softened, as though a gentle light had begun entering the deepest hidden corners of darkness within her. One night, she dreamed of her son standing within a peaceful light, smiling gently and telling her that he had found peace and wished for her to continue living calmly and happily. When she awoke, her heart felt lighter, as though a tremendous burden had finally been lifted, and from that day onward, she began opening herself once more to life. Every morning after bowing before the Buddha, she dedicated her small merit to beings still suffering in the world, especially to mothers who had also lost children as she once had. Through this practice of dedication, she slowly emerged from her personal grief and began participating in charitable activities, sharing love with those enduring difficult lives. The woman who had once been consumed by suffering gradually became serene and radiant, and anyone who met her could sense the profound transformation shining from within her heart. She came to understand that dedication of merit itself had saved her from the abyss of sorrow and guided her soul back toward the light of life. Though these two stories unfolded under very different circumstances, both revealed the same truth, that blessings do not arise from grand achievements, but from hearts willing to open and share. Dedication of merit is the deepest form of sharing virtue, for it does not diminish blessings, but instead allows them to spread toward places most in need of transformation. One sincere dedication of merit can hold greater value than countless good deeds when it is offered with selflessness and freedom from attachment. Some people perform many virtuous actions, yet keep all merit for themselves, causing their blessings to remain limited and unable to spread widely. Meanwhile, others may do only a little, yet because they dedicate merit with boundless hearts, they plant wholesome roots that become deep, lasting, and enduring. The Buddha taught that the wider the heart expands, the deeper blessings become, while the narrow and selfish mind prevents even existing merit from growing further. Within this ever-changing world, a person who understands dedication of merit is like one who lights a lamp in the darkness, illuminating not only their own path, but also guiding others toward the way forward. That light does not need to be dazzling or outwardly impressive, for as long as it is maintained steadily day after day, it possesses enough power to dissolve layers of heavy karma and bring lasting peace. Throughout the spiritual journey, every teaching and story about dedication of merit points toward one profound truth: that this practice is not merely a ritual, but a path of transforming the inner heart. Dedication of merit is not simply words spoken by the lips, but the living movement of compassion itself, capable of soothing the soul, changing destiny, and dissolving deep karmic burdens. The Buddha taught that one who recites the Buddha's name saves oneself, while one who understands dedication of merit is helping others cross beyond suffering as well. A person who practices dedication of merit correctly is like someone lighting a lamp that not only illuminates their own path, but also shines upon family, ancestors, and all beings connected through karmic affinity. Within that light, resentments gradually dissolve. Loved ones begin transforming. Children mature in wisdom, and the mind itself becomes peaceful and pure. Performing virtuous deeds without dedicating merit causes blessings to resemble stagnant water, unable to flow freely or grow into greater fruits. Dedication of merit is the expansion of great compassion itself, allowing merit to move beyond personal boundaries and spread throughout immeasurable beings in the Dharma realm. Even if only one person within a family knows how to dedicate merit properly, that wholesome energy can still spread outward and gradually help transform the karma of the entire household. Whether living in poverty or burdened by limited time, as long as sincerity remains within the heart, the practice of dedication of merit can still generate endless and enduring blessings. Within every passing moment of life, any instant may become an opportunity to dedicate merit. From the moments before sleep, after each wholesome action, to every peaceful recitation of the Buddha's name resting within a tranquil mind. True compassion within the Buddha's teachings is not limited only to dedicating merit for beloved family members, but also means opening the heart toward those who once caused pain, toward ancestors from many lifetimes, and toward all sentient beings everywhere. And eventually, those who patiently practice dedication of merit every day will begin realizing that blessings resemble a quiet stream flowing endlessly, silently nourishing the soil of the heart, transforming karma, and bringing freshness and peace to the entire family naturally. The many authentic stories of different people from humble farmers to ordinary women, from elderly practitioners to suffering souls, all demonstrate that dedication of merit is not superstition, but a profound and genuine spiritual practice. This practice arises from a sincere heart, free from attachment, and bears wholesome fruits through the spreading of compassionate energy into every visible and invisible corner of existence. Now that you have listened fully to these teachings, if even the smallest spark of inspiration has arisen within your heart, please do not let it drift away like a cloud, disappearing into the endless sky. For a wholesome thought left unfed quickly fades away. Yet, if nurtured through even one sincere dedication of merit in the present moment, it can become the very first seed of profound transformation. A single dedication of merit, practiced correctly, does not require display, complexity, lengthy recitations, or elaborate forms, but only the complete presence of three essential qualities: gratitude, generosity, and sincere, wholesome intention. Even one silent prayer arising from the depths of the heart is already enough to plant a wholesome seed that will gradually blossom into blessings for oneself and loved ones alike. Therefore, if you have begun to understand even part of this meaning, then practice it now, in the present moment, by quietly pausing, joining your palms, closing your eyes, and allowing a sincere prayer to arise from deep within your heart. May all wholesome merit be dedicated to every sentient being throughout the Dharma realm, to parents and ancestors from countless lifetimes, to karmic creditors, and to all relatives and loved ones everywhere. May all beings dissolve karmic obstacles, increase wholesome blessings, return to the light of the Buddha's teachings, and abide within pure and compassionate hearts. If you can feel the value within these teachings, please share them with those still drowning in suffering, wandering lost through life, or searching for a true spiritual path. Even a small act of sharing or spreading this message can become a bridge, carrying light toward souls longing for awakening, comfort, and peace. Every such act of spreading goodness is not merely simple action, but an expression of compassion itself, bringing the light of understanding into a world filled with uncertainty and suffering. The journey of transforming karma, accumulating blessings, and nourishing a wholesome heart does not need to begin with grand achievements, but only with sincerity and patient perseverance. May all people everywhere be peaceful. May families live in harmony. May minds become clear and wise, and may every being gradually move closer toward the path of awakening and liberation.